Play ball. Hot off the press, handicappers from Wager Talk, SportsMemo, and the Gold Sheet have collaborated on the 2023 Wager Talk Media MLB Betting Guide. From World Series odds to regular season win totals and everything in between, this year's betting guide features previews on all 30 teams, all 6 divisions, and season-long awards like the Cy Young, MVP, and Rookie of the Year. Each preview contains key roster acquisitions and departures to help you get up to speed before opening day. Visit wt.buzz/MLB23 to download your free guide, and we'll see you in the batter's box.
Welcome to the NBA Triple Double Show, powered by SportsMemo. I'm your host, Ronald Cabang, also known as UCapper on SportsMemo.com, at UCapper Sports on Twitter. I'll be joined by Moneyline Matt to break down 3 games from today's huge 13-game slate. Before we get into those games, though, I do want to talk about what we got going on over at SportsMemo.com. Head over there on a daily basis. We got deals and packages from all the handicappers there. We got the live odds screen page. We got free picks and analysis. Also, check out the deals page. You can see what's going on over at sportsmemo.com and wagertalk.com under that deals site. They also have the leaderboard. Check to see which cappers are hot in which sports and all that stuff. So, like I said, head over to sportsmemo.com on a daily basis, see what we got going on over there. Before you go, also make sure you hit the like and subscribe button here on YouTube. It helps our show grow tremendously, and it only takes a couple clicks there. With that said, let's get Matt up in here with me. What is good, Matt? Man, yesterday only 2 games, really not much to go off of, but we were kind of briefly talking about it before the show here. There's a lot that went on in those 2 games that we kind of wanted to go back to and see, something just didn't fall our way. It was really close. Like I had the under right on that Celtics game. And it went over. Boston kind of just dominated that game there, but I did have the Nuggets team total under. So on Sports Memo went 1-on-1. Obviously took some personal plays there that I liked on the side, but overall things were pretty good yesterday. How did you do yesterday?
Yeah, very similar yesterday. I went 1-1 as well. The night before, I had a feeling Nikola Jokic was not going to play. It was kind of kicking myself for not taking that Pelicans line. Opened at +9, and I believe it closed at +1 or something along those lines. So that is one thing. We've talked about it on this show. If you're looking at something the night before and you have a hunch that someone like Nikola Jokic might sit, you can take advantage of that and get some nice value. But what I did do is, because I thought Jokic would sit, I ended up playing Jonas Valanciunas double-double. He smashed that one for me, and then I ran Jamal Murray points, rebounds, assists, because he tends to be the guy who picks up the 3-stat category when Jokic is out. Got him at 33.5, and it was bumped to 37.5. So once again, if you have a hunch for something, you can definitely get some value. But he did miss, so no value at the end of the day. I would do it again tomorrow if I could. But solid week, 6-5 on the week. I believe I'm up around 9 units just because I've been hitting a lot of my 4% plays, run a really nice 4% play run, and just looking to keep it going. I think we got a really nice card today, some games that definitely still matter, and that's where I'm looking to target.
I like it. All right, let's get into those games here. We got the Knicks and the Cavs as the first game that we want to break down here. Knicks 44-33 on the season, currently on a 2-game winning streak. This is a one-off road game. They just played 2 straight home games. Then they'll head back home to face the Wizards on Sunday. The Cavs here, they're 48-29 on the season, coming off of a loss to the Hawks in Atlanta on Tuesday. So they do have the 1 day of extra rest there, so rest advantage on the Cavs side. This is the first of a 2-game homestand. Face the Pacers on Sunday. Big injury news here on the Knicks side. Randall, I believe he's going to be out for probably the remainder of the regular season, right? I think they said 2 weeks. On the Cavs side, we got Jared Allen, who is doubtful. Dean Wade, who's probable. There was some news earlier today that said maybe Okoro could possibly be out as well. So there's some injury news on the Cavs side there. Actually, on both teams there. From a matchup perspective, the Knicks own the season series 2-1 so far, winning and covering both games at home. Now we're back in Cleveland here. Are you looking at the home team in this one with Randall out, or is there a lot of injury kind of, with the Jared Allen news as well on the Cleveland side that kind of puts you on a pause?
Yeah, the Jarrett Allen news is definitely something big, but I personally believe the Julius Randle news on the other side for the New York Knicks is far bigger. The Cleveland
Mhm.
Cavaliers have become somewhat accustomed to playing without Jarrett Allen. Evan Mobley has definitely stepped up his game this season, becoming a very nice mid-range scorer, a scorer on the basket, very good at rebounding defensively. So obviously they don't have both their big men to lock down that middle, but it's still nice to have Evan Mobley. And when the drop off is Mitchell Robinson, who doesn't really score around the basket nearly like a Julius Randle, I think it's going to affect a lot of the New York Knicks players around. And I say that because one thing that Julius Randle does is he also spaces out the court from the four position. When he's hot, he is knocking down those 3-pointers. And when he's knocking those down, what does that do? That helps to open up the middle for guys like Emmanuel Quickly, guys like Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett. So although the Knicks still have a very nice core, they still have nice bench pieces, things like that. I personally think this is to the Cavs' advantage. So I would be going with the Cavs in this spot. Like you said, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers have a little bit of revenge narrative here. They definitely need this game for the season series. And it's definitely one of those spots, too, where both teams are fairly secure in their playoff positioning. Cleveland Cavaliers in fourth, really not going to go up or down. They're 2.5 games back from the Philadelphia 76ers, and they're 4 games ahead of the New York Knicks. As for the New York Knicks, same story. They're in 5th place. They're 2.5 games ahead of the Brooklyn Nets. And like I said before, they're 4 games back from the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, it is one of those spots where it's like, okay, they could rest some players potentially. But on the other hand, this is very much a playoff style matchup. And why not try and get your guys accustomed to playoff style basketball leading up to the playoffs? Again, I think you made a great point, Ron, that the New York Knicks won both of these games beforehand. I think the Cavs would like to get this game to try and prove themselves, playoff style basketball, we have to win at home against tough teams who want to come into our house and beat us. This is also a Cleveland Cavaliers team who is one of the best teams at home this season with a 30-8 record. So for me, when it's a 2.5 spread like that, they're probably missing their team MVP in Julius Randle, who does so many different things in terms of rebounding, in terms of stretching out the court, in terms of attacking the basket, getting the opposing team in foul trouble. That kind of protects Evan Mobley on top of that, because Julius Randle is someone who forces your hand, and he can get someone like Mobley in foul trouble, and that changes the entire outlook of the game. So for me, I really do like the look of the Cleveland Cavaliers here. I love the revenge narrative. I think they have the better players on the court with Julius Randle out as well, with Garland, Mitchell, and Mobley. So yeah, I'm with the Cavs here with the -2.5, and this will probably be an official play for me.
I like it. I mean, I think you kind of nailed it. Julius Randle, I feel like, is a bigger impact as versus Jared Allen. There, the one thing that I did think about, Matt, is some people when they see Jared Allen out for the Cavs, right, they automatically think, oh, this is gonna go over because they're missing a lot of defense. But if you look at it this season, they're actually 7-4 to the under when he's out. I think what happens is they miss a lot of that the putbacks, the offensive rebounds, the extra possessions that they normally get when he's in the lineup. So I think that might be one thing that we look at as well, is actually to the under, because obviously Randall is going to be a big key as far as the offense on the Knicks side there. I don't know how he impacts the pace here. I don't know how he impacts the defensive side of the ball. I would assume that the defensive rating gets better with Jared Allen out. You get more defensive-minded bigs here to replace him. For the most part, I would probably look towards the under in this one. Like I said, without Jared Allen, 7-4 to the under. In those games, they're averaging a combined score of right under 210, and we see a 221 right now. I can only look towards the under in this one. That would probably be the way that I go. The other thing to mention too, Cavs and Knicks, both in the bottom 10 in pace post All-Star break. Like I said, I think both teams probably going to be less efficient on the offensive side of the ball. Jared Allen and Randall just affecting that aspect of the game for the most part. So under for me, I can't talk you out to that Cleveland look. The only thing, Matt, did you think about this though, real quick? We always talk about that injury replacement theory, and Randall is this is going to be his first game missing, all season long. Did you think about that or
Obi
the impact
Toppin?
of that?
Is it Obi Toppin who's going to take his spot? Is that who
I
it
would
is?
think Oh, I would think they would probably go between Toppin and Hartenstein and things like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They'll probably rotate between those bigs. They're probably going to be really slow it down today.
Yeah, I would imagine so. And one thing I will say is I feel like Hartenstein's been playing solid basketball, especially defensively, rebounding the basketball. He's a decent facilitator. And I'm not going to lie, Obi Toppin is once in a blue moon, he will start making those threes. And if he does that to me, it's going to be a sad Friday night. But for now, I'm still going to live with the Cavs.
I like it. All right, let's go with go to our second game here. We got the Lakers and the Wolves. This one with big playoff implications. Lakers 38-38 on the season, coming off a much needed win over the Bulls. This is the second game of a 5-game road trip too, so they're going like east and then coming back west towards the end of this road trip here. A lot of travel, lot of travel stuff going on the Lakers side. From the Wolves, they're 39-38, so just one game right there, or a half game above the Lakers, coming off of the loss to the Suns, where they were in control of the first half of the game, and then they kind of just gave it up in the third, and then the Suns never looked back. First of a 2-game homestand after 3 straight West Coast games there, so travel spot on the Wolves side there. From an injury perspective, Mo Bamba out, LeBron questionable, AD probable. On the Wolves side, we got Kyle Anderson, and Edwards probable. Then Rivers, Prince, and Noel questionable. Naz Reid, I think he's a low key, like really good piece to this team here that's really been helping them out. He's going to be out today, so that might be a huge impact for them as far as depth goes. Matchup wise, Wolves lead the regular season matchup 2-0. Both games went under by a good margin as well. Slightly different teams now, though, than when they played previously. What are your thoughts on this one, this Lakers and Wolves here?
You know, me and you were talking about this one before the show, and, you know, this is a great game. To me, this is probably the game of the night just because of the playoff implications that come with it. You know, the Minnesota Timberwolves are in 8th place right now. They're a half game above the Los Angeles Lakers, and obviously the Lakers want to try and jump them and get that 8th place spot. And regardless, they both have the play-in tournament spots, but still, you know, huge implications with not many games left. And for me, I'm split. Like, these are the games that I look for. I love the -1 spreads, generally like a -1 to, you know, a 2-point spread. And I'll generally look to take a money line or an underdog money line, something along those lines. But right now, this game is just taking me in 2 different directions because all year long, you know, one trend that me and you both really enjoy is that first game home after a road trip, you fade that home team. And that's the Minnesota Timberwolves right now. And one thing or another thing that I'll say is I personally felt like that Minnesota Timberwolves team maybe even overperformed on that road trip. You know, they won 3 out of 4 games. They recently lost to the Phoenix Suns. And to your point, they looked really good against the Phoenix Suns. And just let that one slip away late. Naz Reid, again, to your point, is a very big miss for this team, I believe. I think he's a very slept-on player. He's one of the better 6-man around the league. He's someone who can rebound. He's someone who can defend. He's someone who can stretch the court as well. When he's feeling it, he can make some 3-point shots. So for me, at this point in time, I think I would actually lean the Lakers just because of that trend that I've talked about. Personally, I like fading that team after a long extended road trip without Naz Reid. I think that could potentially hurt them. And when you look at this Los Angeles Lakers team, for me, a lot of it comes down to depth. A lot of it comes down to depth because I believe this Lakers team has the better depth between the two. The Minnesota Timberwolves is getting a lot of their depth back with like Jalen Noel shooting off the bench and, you know, Taurean Prince. I know a lot of these guys are game time decisions too, so you do have to wait and kind of gauge the news going into this game. But yeah, for me, I think it would be the Lakers, and it kind of goes back to the same thing I said about the Bulls. I am not nearly as confident here as I was in that Bulls game, but the best 2 players on the court, once again, are going to be Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And when you're in a must-win situation, you know, as much as you guys know I dislike LeBron James, I'm going to put my faith in him over someone like Karl Anthony Towns and someone like Anthony Edwards. You know, I do think this Timberwolves team is fully capable of getting it done at home, but the more consistent guys are LeBron and Anthony Davis in this spot. And I think this is a must-win game for them. This one will not be an official pick for me or anything along those lines, but I think I do lean the Lakers in this spot just for that fact that they have the 2 best players on the court at all times. So I'm going to ride with the Lakers.
Yeah, I actually agree with you here. I want to see what the updated line is here, but for the most part, we see the Wolves here went from pick'em to now they're favored. And one thing that I did look at is the Wolves as home favorites coming off of a road game. So you talk about that travel spot, right? Off a road trip and then coming back home. But specifically on in the Wolves scenario here, home favorites now at -1 off of a road game, 0-7 against the spread in that spot. Also 5-2 to the under, averaging 108.7 per game, allowing 114.7. So well below the total that we see tonight here at 233.5 currently. The Lakers as road dogs. I mean, I'm looking at them post All-Star break specifically. I know a lot of those games were without LeBron, but they did have the depth that you talk about, after the trade deadline. After the All-Star break, as road dogs, 3-1 straight up and against the spread in that spot, averaging a combined score of 230, which is still slightly below what the current total is. But this is the one that kind of makes a difference for me is the difference in the revenge angle. We talk about the revenge angle a lot, and they've done a lot better after the All-Star break than before the All-Star break. And to me, it really has to do with that depth that you talk about. The Lakers after the All-Star break in revenge angle, 6-1 straight up and against the spread, keeping their opponents under their team total in 6 of those 7 games as well. So for me, the way that I'm looking at it, I agree with you on the Lakers side. I also probably look towards the under here. I know Minnesota has been a pretty good defensive team here ever since Cat came back as well. So, and the pace slowed down. The Wolves also, they kind of rely on the three pointer a lot, especially with Cat back. He's kind of been sitting on the side. I think the last 2 games he put up like 10 and 9 from the three. And the Lakers have been one of the better 3-point defensive teams post All-Star break. I think they're only allowing like 32% from the three. So I would say that the Lakers is the side. I also think that it will go under. Did you see anything from a prop perspective at all in this game? I know there's some revenge
Yeah,
angles
so
here.
yeah, no, 100%. And one thing that I was looking at this morning actually was I was trying to identify where the mismatch was. I always try and avoid McDaniels. Whoever McDaniels is going to be guarding, that's who I try and avoid in terms of a point prop. And today, I think that'll be Anthony Edwards. Personally, it'll be him or Cat. So that's the toughest part because Anthony Davis is going to be matched up with Rudy Gobert, and then LeBron runs that 4, so Karl Anthony Towns runs that 4. So it's like, is LeBron going to shift off, or is Jade McDaniels going to come to the 4? Either one is a mismatch, though. McDaniels is not a very big individual when being compared to Karl Anthony Towns. So for me, on my Twitter, I gave out Karl Anthony Towns because I saw his line was 18.5, and I was like, what? That's ridiculous. You're never going to see it that low. So smashed that, but now it's already up to 22.5. So I think the books may be seeing the same mismatch that I'm potentially seeing here because it's going to be Jade McDaniels or it's going to be Bron. And Anthony Davis is going to have no choice but to run with Rudy Gobert because he's enormous. And so it might be one of those spots where you actually run a Karl Anthony Towns points, rebounds, assists because Karl Anthony Towns is a very good facilitator. I know we haven't been able to see as much as him play this season as maybe last, but last year he was averaging around 4 or 5 assists, so he is fully capable of facilitating out of that 4 position. And so he is the one that I see in that mismatch. I don't have the number in front of me right now, but the switches are going to be LeBron and McDaniels. And I think Karl Anthony Towns is going to be able to take advantage of that tonight. And he's coming off a hot game in their previous against the Suns. And it was the same reason I liked him there because there was no one to guard him. It was Kevin Durant who's going to be guarding him. Same situation with LeBron. Guys that have to focus on offense. When you have guys who have to focus on offense, they don't want to foul. So they're going to be a little more ticky-tack with everything. They're going to let the guy back him down a little bit more. They're going to be careful with Karl Anthony Towns. And LeBron can't afford to get in foul trouble either. So for me, the look would be Karl Anthony Towns here.
Yeah, that's a good point there. I know you mentioned McDaniels, and I know he's like lately he's really been priding himself on that defensive side of the ball. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to be the guy on LeBron here, and he's going to focus most of his energy on the defensive side of the ball. So yeah, pivoting, whatever his usage is on the offense, which is probably not as much as it was when Cat was out, but that usage is probably going to go somewhere else, and it makes sense that Cat gets it. I like that look a lot there. All right, let's move on to the last game, the Nuggets and the Suns. We got the Nuggets here, 51-24 on the season, currently first in the West, coming off of that loss last night to the Pelicans. Jokic sat yesterday as well, second leg of back-to-back home to road games, so there's even travel involved there for the Nuggets side. Then they head back home for a game against the Warriors on Sunday. On the Sun side, 41-35 on the season on a 3-game winning streak for them. They do need to keep going to stay out of the play-ins because they're only 2.5 games ahead of the seventh in the standings here. There's really not a lot of room for error on the West right now between like fifth and 11th. There's probably like 3 or 4 games difference there. This is the second of a 2-game homestand before they head to OKC to face the Thunder on Sunday. From an injury perspective, we saw Jamal Murray on the report likely to sit tonight for rest. Jokic didn't sit yesterday, but he's still on the injury report as far as that goes, as questionable or game time decision. KCP is also questionable for the Nuggets. On the Sun side, there's nobody on the report that I see right now. Matchup perspective, Nuggets lead the season series 2-0. 2-0. Both games were in Denver. Now the Suns are at home, and they're a huge favorite here. Line's telling me Jokic might actually sit again. I don't know though. Like, do you think you talked about it yesterday? You thought Jokic was gonna sit. I also thought Jokic was gonna sit, and that's why I took the Nuggets team total under early. What are your thoughts on this one? Do you feel like Joker sits again?
Yeah, real quick before I break this down, just wanted to say I meant Jared Vanderbilt before. I was saying Jaden McDaniels, got the two mixed up. Jared Vanderbilt on Karl Anthony Towns. Sorry about that. Just wanted to clarify. But in this game, man, gosh, it's so tough to predict some of these injuries. In my head, if I'm a head coach here, there really isn't a reason for Denver to continue to run their starters at this point in time. Maybe you let them run for a half, maybe you let them run for 3/4 or something like that. But they have first place essentially secured. So there's not exactly a reason they need to run all those starters. If Nikola Jokic actually does have a calf injury going on, then yeah, bench him. I think he's going to be sitting in this spot. And then, there's a couple other players who are currently potentially sitting as well. And as for the Suns, to your point, this is a Suns team who needs to play together right now. They need Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and DeAndre Ayton all playing together because, Kevin Durant just came back from that injury. And that's one thing as well. They need to ramp Kevin Durant up to his full minutes again. That generally takes 2, 3, 4 games. Last game, I'm not sure how many minutes he got. I believe it was maybe around the 28-minute range, somewhere around there. So if he got 28 minutes here, that means he's getting 32 in this spot. After the 32, that means he's going to be back up to his full go at 36. So they might take 3 games to ramp him back up. But once again, with the playoffs right around the corner, you still need to play with everyone. So for me, I would be with the Suns here. Personally, I would back the 9.5. It's not an official play or anything like that. Like I was saying before, I am only taking games that matter to both teams. Every time I wake up in the morning or at night, I'm circling every single game that has 2 teams that have playoff implications on the line, and that is who I'm trying to target. And as for the Denver Nuggets, they don't have any playoff implications on the line. They don't really have anything to play for other than maybe they don't like the Suns. I really don't know. But for me, I just don't think that they're going to play all of their guys. They might run Aaron Gordon, they might run MPJ, but if you have Murray miss, if you have KCP miss, if you have Jokic miss, I don't even believe the injury replacement theory comes into effect here. Just because they all ran last night as well. So you're also on a back-to-back. It's a tough spot. Yeah, I would be with the Suns here.
I like it. I think one thing that I was looking at, because obviously we don't know what the status is of Joker until later, but we know, we're pretty sure Murray's probably going to sit tonight. So what I did was looked at different situations here, right? I looked at how the Nuggets did with Joker in and Murray out. They've actually been covering at a high rate, 9-1 against the spread in that situation with Joker in and Murray out. But if you take Joker out, just Joker himself, but most of the time they're going under their team total. So I would probably go, this is the situation that I would do, right? So we know the Suns Suns pretty much covered every game so far with KD in the lineup. That's only 4 games, a small sample size, but it's pretty telling there. Also, their defense is a lot better with him in the lineup than without. But 2 different scenarios. If Joker sits, I would say take the Nuggets team total under. I know it's come down a lot, but their offense just struggles pretty much. I think it's like a 10-point, 11-point gap between Joker in and out. So take the team total under. If he sits, if he's in, I'd probably look at them to cover the big spread, right? Because right now we're seeing at 10.5. That would probably be the way that I go, even though the Suns have covered every single game here. This is a big line for a team with Joker, that possible MVP there in the lineup. So those are the two scenarios I would look at. The other thing that I would look at too is actually this is actually my best bet for the show, so we could probably just dive straight into that. Is DeAndre Ayton under 14.5 points. I took his under PRA the other day, but it's come down to two PRA. So I don't want to take that. I want to focus in on the points there. So under 14.5 in the last 3 games with KD in the lineup, he's gotten 10, 9, and 7. His usage rate drops from 21.6% without KD to just 13% with KD in the lineup. So that would be the way that I go here. I mean, with or without Jokic, I think Aiden's going to struggle on the offensive side of the ball. If Joker sits, right, and the Suns just kill this game, there's no point in DeAndre Ayton. Maybe they just sit him in the second half, right? You want to be healthy going into the playoffs. That's a situation that can happen as well, and that's going to be good for the under. So I would look at DeAndre Ayton under 14.5 here for my best bet. Actually, I think I have one play up right now in SportsMemo, but for the most part, I'm probably going to add a couple more here towards the afternoon. This is normally when I add my plays here, because especially this late in the season with all the injury impact. And also MLB is up and running now too, so got to cap that. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, and then Matt, I know you touch on a lot of other things as well. We got UFC, we got college basketball here as well. Still got the Final Four and all that stuff. A lot of stuff going on, Matt. So talk to the people about what you got going on over at sportsmemo.com for the rest of the weekend. Also, your best bet for today's show.
Yeah, guys, I got 2 plays up right now. Once again, I have a Moneyline best bet. I do not know. I'm waiting on some news to kind of give my confidence rating on it. But Moneyline best bets have been absolutely fire for me. In 2023, we're 17-10. 4% Moneyline best bets. We are 10-2, up 33 units in 2023. So really seeing those Moneyline bets well. And again, like I was telling you, that's why I kind of pinpoint those spots the night before. I look for those close spreads. I go for those Moneyline bets. And I do have one of those Moneyline spots tonight. Again, we look for those games that have playoff implications on the line. You can move up, down, or stay the same. There are some teams that are still fighting to keep those playoff spots, and those are the teams that we want to target here. And tonight, for the best bet, we are doing the same exact thing. And tonight, we are actually going with Spencer Dinwiddie, double-double, plus 105, okay? And Spencer Dinwiddie and the Brooklyn Nets face off against the Atlanta Hawks in this spot. And both teams, playoff implications on the line. The Brooklyn Nets are currently sitting in 6th of the Eastern Conference, and the Atlanta Hawks are sitting in 8th, but are also tied with the Toronto Raptors, who are sitting in 9th. So they don't want to fall down. They want to stay where they're at in 8th place, or potentially move up a little bit. Most teams have around 5 games left this season, so this is as big a game as any to close out and looking to the playoffs. Again, this is one of those games that's going to have playoff style atmosphere, and that means full minutes, full usage, full volume, the rotation that is essentially expected. And since Spencer Dinwiddie was traded to the Nets, he's averaging 17.4 points and 8.4 assists, okay? And his points plus assist line is 28.5. So you could take that if you want, but with a points and assist line at 28.5, I personally see more value in a double-double, especially given the fact that Spencer Dinwiddie has hit this double-double in 7 of his last 10 matchups. And you guys know I love targeting Trae Young. Trae Young is potentially the worst guard defender in the NBA, maybe just overall the worst defender in the NBA. And in this spot, a lot of the attention is going to go to Mikal Bridges, and due to defensive makeup of the Atlanta Hawks, I believe DeJounte Murray is going to be the one taking Mikal Bridges, and that's going to leave that matchup for Trae Young and Spencer Dinwiddie, which I absolutely love. Spencer Dinwiddie has faced the Atlanta Hawks twice this season. He's had 20 points and 7 assists with the Mavs. And as we know, he definitely has not had as many assists with the Mavericks as he had the Brooklyn Nets. And with the Brooklyn Nets, though, he had 20 points and 8 assists. So, he's right there, both spots. You're getting plus money with this play. And I think it's one of those spots where, Mikal Bridges can get going. Cam Johnson can get going from the outside. This is one of those games, too, where I actually looked at Clint Capella double-double, but Clint Capella doesn't get the minutes with the Nets generally, and they tend to go with a smaller style lineup because Nick Claxton is one of those guys who gets up and down the court a little bit faster. He's more of an athletic style center. And if this game goes smaller, I love the look of Spencer Dinwiddie to get out and run, get his teammates involved, things like that. And again, like I said, it's just a great matchup going against Trae Young. This is a spot, once again, where both teams are going to have to go full go in this spot. Playoff implications on the line. The Atlanta Hawks are giving up 23.76 points against per game to the point guard position and 8.25 assists. So again, it's a great spot for Spencer Dinwiddie. He has been the complete facilitator of this team since becoming a Brooklyn Net. I think it continues tonight against Trae Young and the Hawks. I'm going to be with Spencer Dinwiddie, double at plus 105.
I like it. Do you think it correlates with the over PRA as well? Because I was actually looking at that before the show, the over PRA on that one. He should be able to get, if he gets a double, you would think he goes over PRA as well, right?
Yeah, you would definitely think so. I personally expect this game to go small ball. A lot of the time, like I was saying, with the Atlanta Hawks and Clint Capella, it's dependent on the matchup. It's very similar to Jonas Valanciunas of the New Orleans Pelicans. If you have a smaller style matchup, they're going to sit Capella and what's the back? Okongwu? Oh, is Okongwu the backup? Yeah, so they're going to run Okongwu because Okongwu is more of an athletic style center. He's more like 6'10". He can run up and down the court well, blocks well. Very similar to Nicholas Claxton. And if you go smaller like that, that also gives guys like Spencer Dinwiddie more opportunity to get those 3 or 4 rebounds that you need. Maybe more. It also gives him more opportunity to get assists because it's going to speed up the pace of the game. You're going to get more shots. You're going to see more volume, opportunity. That's what you want when taking guards and stuff like that. So if you think it's a game where that center is going to be taken out, then other guys' PRAs do become more valuable typically.
Yeah, I was looking at the last game log here for Dinwiddie against the Hawks. He played 41 minutes, so I think you're right about them playing small ball here, and he's going to get heavy usage and minutes here in this game, especially with all that's going on in the Eastern Conference standings there. So makes sense to me. Man, good show today. We broke down 3 games, gave out our best bets. With that said, man, this is the end of the show here. Make sure you head out to sportsmemo.com. Check out all the amazing deals, promos we got going on. Utilize the live odds page, the free picks page as well. And before you go, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. It only takes a couple seconds, like I said, and it helps our show grow tremendously here. With that said, our next show will be 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Monday. Till then, good luck with our reaction. Peace.
Play ball. Hot off the press, handicappers from Wager Talk, SportsMemo, and the Gold Sheet have collaborated on the 2023 Wager Talk Media MLB Betting Guide. From World Series odds to regular season win totals and everything in between, this year's betting guide features previews on all 30 teams, all 6 divisions, and season-long awards like the Cy Young, MVP, and Rookie of the Year. Each preview contains key roster acquisitions and departures to help you get up to speed before opening day. Visit wt.buzz/MLB23 to download your free guide, and we'll see you in the batter's box.